cheeses themselves, some of them are beautiful. And those are created all by the knowledge of these cheesemakers. So I do think it's an art form. I think cheesemakers are both artists and craftspeople.
Struggle's not a good word, but in a way it is a word to use for making cheese. It's hard. It's really hard.
I think that if you look at the community of cheesemakers as a whole, you have a spirit of cooperation that makes things possible and that are specific to Vermont. You're not going to find these kinds of relationships, these kinds of projects and collaborations happening anywhere else.
It is a dichotomy of two different things, though. One world you can try and control, which is the cheese world, this laboratorial experience, and then the world of making hay and farming, which is completely out of your control.
Completely out of your control.
And sometimes we like the out of the control because we're like, oh, it's not our fault.
And that's Bugatti, the black one. That's Opal with the stripe. Lily's right there with the green collar. Kaya's over there with like the puzzle. Charlotte's laying down over there, and Lulu is laying down.
We have an intern coming from France for 2 months. We had one last year, it worked out really well. And they could go anywhere in the world, such as Switzerland or Germany, but they're choosing to come here, which is very interesting.
You're taking this perishable product and making it into something that you can age. It's astounding. The cheese is kind of our own recipe. It's sort of a washed curd type of a cheese, so it's not a cheddar because we don't go through the cheddaring process. I don't know, we just call it hors d'oeuvre, and I noticed in a book recently somebody said somebody was making a cheese that was similar to an hors d'oeuvre, and I thought, oh, how cool is that? It's becoming its own type.
There's 15 of us, 11 boys and 4 girls. And this farm is the 4 girls farm. So the cows will actually step up here and you're down here, and so you'll milk this cow and then you'll milk this cow. We named it 11 Brothers because we have 11 brothers and they were a lot of work and so was this cheese. But they all came out good, so we named that after them, the 11 Brothers. They always put the newborns in a round bucket like that because if it's cold, they tend to crowd into a corner. This way there's no corner to crowd in so nobody gets hurt.
On the pasture with all the girls. They just got done milking for the morning. We bring them down every day after milking and they can stay out here all day unless it gets too hot or wet or anything, then we can bring them back in. Right now we're milking 92. We've got one left that has to freshen, so we'll be at 93.
We have farmstead operations, and these operations really do mostly graze the animals. So most of the Vermont cheeses are being made from milk that's produced on grass, on pastures.
My great-grandfather bought the farm in 1907, I guess. For me, one of the biggest fears in life is boredom, and I'm not bored at all. I'm never bored.
He only just learned how to go on vacation, and he now knows that he can go for a week and sit in the sand.
Yeah,
it's
and
okay.
I kind of like it.
Let me take one of these. It's a rinsed curd, semi-hard cheese that has a relatively high moisture content. So it starts out very sweet and creamy, but then as it ages, still has that creamy consistency, and people find that really interesting when they taste it because it's quite a juxtaposition. The history of Crowley is really cool. Supposedly the oldest continuously operating cheese operation in the country. This building is quite historic and it is haunted. which makes working here interesting.
It's very important to us that our cheese is certified organic, and in the dairy world, being certified organic means basically every morsel of food the cows eat is organic food. It's grown without herbicides and pesticides. And second, the cows get exercise every day. Even in the middle of winter, they go out in the backyard for a walk and get exercise. And three, there's no hormones or antibiotics. I always tell everybody we should do this. You know, eat all organic food, get exercise every day, and don't do drugs. And you become so healthy.
Kids love cheddar. In fact, you would think that they would most enjoy the youngest, mildest cheddar, but that's often not the case. We got involved in cheese making over 30 years ago now as part of the mission of the farm to cultivate a conservation ethic and create a sustainable working landscape.
We're the sixth generation of my family to be on this land and operate the farm as a dairy. So, since the turn of the 1800s.
You know, when we designed this barn, it's like, geez, 20 cows, I think I can walk these buckets.
The really neat thing about milk is it reflects the season, it reflects the animal, and then it reflects the kind of work that takes place in the cheese house or what the cheesemaker does to it. You cannot make an excellent cheese without excellent milk. And if you take that back a step further, in our situation in Vermont, farms are fundamental to milk. If we don't have a healthy farm, we're not going to have good milk. So that continuity and that connection between the land and the consumer is what we're part of.